screwing around with this thing.
No, you figure, I got one less thing left to try here.
What are you doing with that thing? Come on! Come on!
There you go, buddy.
What, do you think I'm not going to be able to get that thing unstuck now? No problem, man.
Got nothing to do with getting it stuck. There you go, survivor man. Stay in there tonight.
Shut up. I could live in this truck. I could sleep in here tonight. I got dinner, make myself a fire. I got all I need. I got a book. I got no problem sleeping in this bad boy. I got all the supplies I need. Hey, man, where's my keys? Well, I guess there's no tunes for tonight.
I think anytime somebody drives outside of the city or outside of a town, they should be prepared for the reasonable worst case scenario, which is their vehicle might either stop, break down, or have an accident.
Well, a lot of times it's just an unforeseen circumstance. I don't want to say it's poor. In some instances it is poor planning, but I think that's the minority of the time. I think the majority of the time is just like today, it's all of a sudden it's starting to hail. Just something as freakish as this happening out of the blue, where it's not forecasted and you weren't paying attention or you didn't get a chance to look at the forecast. And next thing you know, that or a wild animal, depending where part of the province you're in, crossing your path and you go to avoid, as instinct does cause you to do. Anything like that could just put you off the road or cause some damage to your vehicle, which, if you strike the animal, you could end up, with motor or vehicle problems that way too. So.
Well, it's starting to get a little bit colder than I thought it was going to get, but you know what? I'm not too worried about Jay. Basically, what the challenge that he set out for me was to make sure that I do have actually the provisions to last at least one night by myself in the vehicle. Now, obviously, in some situations, your vehicle may still be running. You hit the ditch and you can't get out, so there's things you want to do there. Make sure the tailpipe's clear and, run the engine periodically so as not to use up the fuel too much, and obviously be really careful of carbon monoxide poisoning. But for tonight, for this exercise, I don't have to worry about any of that because he took my keys away. Now, obviously, my house is just around the corner from here, and it wouldn't be a big deal to go in there and do whatever. But in the spirit of what Jay has challenged me to do, I'm just going to take some of the basic provisions that I have. So one of the first things that I have here, your everyday run-of-the-mill emergency survival kit. Bought at any hardware store, basically. Something that you're probably never going to think about again, right? You're going to buy this thing, you're going to throw it in the trunk of your car, and you're going to forget about it until you need it.
A lot of places sell them. I guess it depends how elaborate you get, but the majority of the things that are found there are found in most people's homes. The exception of maybe flares and things like that. Those you'd probably have to go purchase at a specialty store, but the most of the stuff, candles and water and a little bit of maybe dried fruit or things like that, blankets and an extra set of clothes.
So what do we get right off the bat? Well, we got a shovel. Hopefully we won't need that. Got a little blanket here. Got a flashlight. Oh, no batteries in it though. Light as a feather. Got some booster cables. Don't need those. Matches and some candles. These types of candles, I believe, last for a good couple of hours. I don't know how much heat it's actually going to put off, but I guess we'll try it out and see.
Even if you don't have emergency gear in your vehicle, in almost any situation, no matter how cold it is, you can survive at least one night in a vehicle. And most times somebody's going to be driving. You are on a highway or the road. Chances are somebody else is going to come by and find you. And we know of people who have left their vehicle within an hour of being stranded in a blizzard. And I know of a couple where the wife died and the husband, frostbit his feet very, very badly. And then somebody drove up and found their vehicle, and the vehicle had only been stalled for 3 hours.
Like some of this stuff, like you look and this is supposed to be a survival kit or a roadside assistance kit. Now, I suppose for most of the season or for most of the year, no problem. But in a season like this, made in China, these aren't exactly the state of the art or the best for your money zip ties. So let's say you're in a jam and you got to try and do something. So you use one of these, you zip it. Well, this one just broke right here, so it won't even work as a zip tie now. So again, really, there's two lessons learned here. A little kit like this, could it help you out? Absolutely. In pitch black on the side of the road, this could potentially save your life, right? If you did have to get out and fix a flat tire or something like that. Is this sufficient enough roadside assistance or roadside safety kit? I'm gonna go with probably not so much. My advice to you would be to purchase a similar bag like this and buy some quality provisions that'll enable you to travel in Manitoba. This might be good enough if you live in Florida and you got caught on the side of the road for a few hours. In the dead of winter right here, you need some fairly significant and serious winter survival gear. Now, thankfully, I have that.
And also, I tell people to always have an emergency pack in the vehicle. I always have one, even when I rent a vehicle, I will take my emergency pack out of my vehicle, put it in the rental vehicle, even if I'm just gone for a day, if I'm leaving town. And in that is just, a big duffel bag with all the old parkas and boots and stuff that you have sitting in your basement that you'll never wear again. And, yeah, it might not make a fashion statement, but if you're stuck out in the winter time, you'd be very happy to have that in your vehicle and not sitting in your basement.
All right, so I'm gonna be here for a while. I figure the first order of business should be to start myself up a fire. Now, obviously, I know my own yard better than anybody else, and I know that all last summer I should have cleaned up some of the scrub along there. So I'm gonna pull out my trusty little toboggan here, and I'm gonna get my little handsaw, head on out there and get myself some supplies to make a little heat. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a dead tree right there. All you need is a couple of very simple and very crude tools. Got a little rough cutter saw here. It's pretty sharp, actually. Just took a piece out of my glove. And I've also got a little baby hatchet. But really what you're looking for is the smaller pieces, because you can get them lit up a lot quicker. Now, I'm gonna be here all night, but I don't think I need a fire to burn through the night. I do still have the truck, even though Jackass took the keys. Now, obviously, the wood energy factor is pretty diminished on these deadfall trees like this, but I'll tell you what, sure beats having to cut a tree down. All right, I got a pretty good little supply of wood here. So I think what I'm gonna do is get my trusty little shovel out. I'll get a little ways away from the truck, because when I cook myself some dinner, I wanna do it right on the tailgate here. It's kind of nice working without having Jay looking over my shoulder, telling me how I'm doing everything wrong. Very relaxing. Wonder what he's doing right now.
The engineer mixes the sound to achieve the best musical balance in the record.
Just shred up a little paper and make a little bed here. I think I'll use the home section. I'm not gonna use the auto section. Oh, look at that. There's an ad for heaters right there. Could use one of those right now. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't ever remember lighting a fire in winter in this type of survival type thing. We had a couple of New Year's Eve fires maybe, but let's just see if a dummy like me can make fire or not. She's a smoky one. It'll keep the mosquitoes off the campsite. I don't know if I'm quite ready to start cooking yet, or maybe I should just sit down and enjoy the little fire I made here. And it would have been darn near impossible to start this fire without that newspaper to get it going first. So let's see you try starting a fire with your internet there. This ain't so bad. I'll probably wind up having such a nice little camp out here. Once I start singing a few songs, wouldn't be surprised if Jay gets bored in the house and comes out here and joins me. So here I am in what could be potentially construed as a fairly volatile situation. All things considered, I am in my own front yard, but there's nothing wrong with this, and really there's no reason why anybody in any type of situation can't do this. Normally I wouldn't probably really make a fire in an emergency situation until I was cold. Wouldn't want to really use the wood, but this is pretty nice right here. Of course, there are those professionals who deal with people who are actually lost, alone, and needing real help.
Winter roads up north, where people were expected to be back at a certain time frame. Those instances, in most cases, they all turned out Luckily, they all turned out good, but most instances, the reason was they ran out of gas. They just weren't paying attention, or they didn't plan, for the stops appropriately, and then ran out just shy of their destination.
Okay, so now I got a pretty decent fire going here. I just saw a little car go by with the Domino's thing on top of it. So that would lead me to believe that Jay's in the house right now eating a pizza with my family, which is fine. That's cool. I can see them from here. I hope they're looking out at me and laughing and waving. But you know what? I was prepared. I do have a little bit of food to go around here. Oh yeah, here's what I'm talking about. Spaghetti with meat sauce. Now basically this is dehydrated food, and all it needs is a little bit of water to make it happen. These portable and disposable propane tanks can be a real lifesaver. You don't want to use it as a source of heat in an enclosed area, but if you couldn't get a fire going, this thing would sure be handy in a jam. I think I'm just gonna take some of this partially frozen water and see what happens. Dump in my spaghetti with meat sauce. Let's give her a little stir. The only thing I'm missing actually is I don't have any cutlery. That's something that I should have thought of before I got out here, because I'm gonna have to eat with my hands now, I guess. I don't really know what else I can use. Sure, I can figure something out though. I can make some kind of a fork out of a bottle, or crude but potentially effective, I suppose. Okay, so according to the instructions, which yes, I did read, we will have ourselves a delicious meal of spaghetti with meat sauce. We need about another 5 or 10 minutes. I know that in today's day and age, nobody ever really throws garbage around on the ground anymore, but the way I was taught was never do it, and I've always been like that, and I just feel that it's a crime against nature to litter. Let's have a look. Actually, check that out. That don't look so bad, does it? Hope you guys are enjoying your pizza. I got myself some spaghetti with meat sauce. With my belly full and the night wearing on, I figured it was time to grab a little shut-eye. And of course, I had a plan for that.
Even when you become mildly hypothermic, our core temperature regularly is 37 degrees. Mild hypothermia sets in at 35 degrees, which will take hours or overnight before you could ever get that cold. It still takes an awful long time before you became moderately to severely hypothermic. You would become unconscious, and you would still have several hours of survival time before your heart actually stopped because it was cold enough to stop. So you really have a long time that you can survive in a vehicle. If you put an extra set of winter clothing on and get inside a sleeping bag, you can live for days. If you can survive the first day, then you can survive many days.
Right now I have on a pair of very warm rated winter boots. I got a pair of very warm snowmobile pants, ski pants. Actually, they float too. And I've got this nice big parka with a fur collar on it. But really what I think is always going to save your butt, if you keep your eye on your local sporting goods stores, seasonal sales, you'll often get sleeping bags for a good price. You know what? Even if you never go camping in your life, take my word for it. Buy yourself a sleeping bag and stick it in the trunk of your car. I've already had dinner. I'm basically ready to get down for the night. I'm gonna leave my boots. I'm gonna leave everything that I've got on. And I'm gonna step outside of the truck and make a little seat cover out of your sleeping bag. Drop it right down to the floor. Slide yourself right back inside of it. And you know what, Jay? I ain't too worried, buddy. Good night. Meatball? What are you doing, Meatball?
Never you mind.
Come on, friend, tell me. What the fuck are you doing over there?
You don't care.
Of course I do.
I'm trying to build that car.
This car?
And I really gotta hurry.
I will help you.
Really?
Let's do it!
Let's do it!
Let's do it!
Let's do it! Let's do it!
Do
Yeah, I'll put that on there.
Meatball, this is awesome! We'll have this car on the road in no time, and I'm helping you!
It can't be done. 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 It can't be done.
Meatball, move it, buddy, let's go!
Pretty sure we need one of these.
It can't be done.
It's for the motor!
Okay.
Meatball, you gotta ignore them!
Say something to distract me.
Wow. You look delicious.
You think so?
I've always thought so.
Think so?
I do. Oh, Meatball, we will be friends forever.
You have to go. Save yourself. It's too late for me now. I'll be with you. And you're coming.
Holy, that was weird.
Hey, buddy, you got her out of the snowbank, I see.
Piece of cake, man. These new tires work good. Not only did I get it out of there, but all night last night I slept like a baby, had a hot meal around a warm fire. Absolutely no concerns now. Let's get rolling, brother.
Great job, buddy. Looks good. All right. Drive safe.
From my yard, it was off to adventures north. None of us knew what was waiting ahead, but those are the types of road trips that are the best, right? With a few planned stops along the way, Provincial Highway 6 laid out ahead of us like a ribbon of promise. We were about to see what our own backyard had to offer. After all the planning, the building, the swapping of parts, this was it. Time for us to settle in for the long and winding road. Hey Jay, are we there yet?